Throughout history, many individuals from all backgrounds contributed to Clemson's success. These individuals are recognized in a variety of ways across campus. However, there are some that are honored more highly than others. Born in 1782, John C. Calhoun was a large defender of slavery and minority politics, for at the time the South was considered a minority. He is credited with being a supporter of the South's secession, and he had a large impact on the United States government. He served in the House of Representatives and the Senate, as well as serving as the Secretary of War, Secretary of State, and Vice President under John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson. Fort Hill was built in 1803 but expanded in 1830. This is where John C. Calhoun and his family presided for the majority of their lives. Many slaves were kept at this plantation as John C. Calhoun was a firm supporter of slavery. However, he was known to treat them more paternalistically than most slave owners. They served him and his family until the end of his life in 1850. Upon his death, he left his land to his wife Floride Calhoun and daughter Anna Maria Calhoun.
Thomas Green Clemson was born in 1807 in Philadelphia. Clemson studied agriculture throughout his life. During his life, Clemson served as an ambassador in France and as the first lieutenant in the Confederate Army. In 1838, Clemson married Anna Marie Calhoun, the daughter of John C. Calhoun. After the death of John C. Calhoun, the Clemsons inherited the Fort Hill Plantation. Upon Clemson's death in 1888, the land of Fort Hill Plantation was gifted to the state of South Carolina to become a college of agriculture. Thomas Green Clemson is commemorated with a statue on the University of Clemson's campus. Benjamin Pitchfork Tillman was born in 1847. He served as the governor of South Carolina as well as a United States senator. In 1886, Tillman met with Thomas Green Clemson to discuss the creation of what is now Clemson University. In 1888, when Clemson passed away, Tillman saw to the creation of this institution. Today, he is remembered by the university with Tillman Hall, a well-known symbol of campus.
Walter T. Cox Jr. attended Clemson University in the class of 1939, graduating with a degree in general science. After graduating, he remained on Clemson campus and continued work in a variety of different ways. He was the football line coach, baseball coach, assistant to the president, director of alumni affairs, dean of students, vice president of student affairs, and eventually president of Clemson University. He was absent from the campus from the years of 1942 to 1943 to serve the United States Army, but soon returned to resume his many coaching roles for Clemson's athletic department. In 1951, he served as the Director of Public Relations and Alumni Affairs, as well as assistant to the President Robert Poole. In 1955, he presided over the transition between military status and civilian status for Clemson University, and he was named Dean of Student Affairs. He served in that position until 1985. Through his leadership roles, he guided the desegregation of Clemson as well as the enrollment of women. From 1985 to 1986, he served as Clemson University's president before retiring in 1987.
Clemson University first opened in July of 1893 as an all-male military college. It was not until 1955 that it made the transition to civilian status for students and became a co-educational institution. Thus, to honor its status as a military school and all their alumni that have served our country, Clemson has multiple statues and parks to commemorate our veterans. In the Military Heritage Plaza, a statue of a cadet stands between Bowman Field and Memorial Chapel. This area served as Clemson's earliest military drill complex. The classes between 1950 and 1953 all contributed to this memorial. More recently, in May of 2012, the Clemson Corps Alumni Group opened Memorial Park across from Death Valley. Its purpose is to remember all those who have served the nation and state in a range of fields from agriculture to the military. It honors past generations of servant leaders while challenging emerging leaders to think about how they will contribute to their society through the questions engraved in the pathways and on the boulders. Finally, T.J. Dixon and Jim Nelson began the Class of 1944 project, creating a statue of a boy as both a student and a serving officer in the military, sitting back to back. It represents the sacrifices many young men made for their country, with the inscription quoting a student that served in World War II. It states, "We were just boys, mere boys, and then there was a war, and half of us were dead or wounded." The statues and memorials just discussed are well known across campus, as they are given the respect they deserve. Next, we discuss the many individuals that are not well recognized despite the obstacles that they have overcome to make Clemson the institution it is today.
Convict laborers built Clemson University. From 1891 to 1896, convicts from Pendleton Penitentiary were sent to Fort Hill Plantation to build the first buildings of what is now Clemson University. These buildings, Tillman and Hardin, are still used today. In 1896, one of the members of the Board of Trustees stated in a letter to the South Carolina Attorney General that the foundation of Clemson College would not have been possible without the work of the convict laborers. Now, the only recognition of the contribution these workers made to the campus is a plaque off the beaten path in Woodlands Crossing Cemetery by Death Valley.
After transferring from Anderson College in 1955, Margaret Marie Snyder went on to graduate from Clemson in 1957 with a degree in chemistry. She was the first ever woman to earn a degree from the college and is recognized for this accomplishment on a plaque outside of Brackett Hall, which used to be the chemistry building. In 2005, the plaque was built, which is exactly 50 years after Margaret transferred to Clemson University.
Harvey Gantt took huge strides for the African American community in South Carolina. He was the first black student to enroll and earn a degree at Clemson. His success did not come easy, however. After applying in 1961 and receiving no response, he sued in the federal court in 1962 for his eventual enrollment in January of 1963. He earned a degree in architecture with honors in 1965 and went on to serve 2 terms as mayor of Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as became a partner in an architecture firm. Currently, Clemson honors him with a multicultural center named after him and his wife, located in Suite 300 in Brackett Hall.
Clemson University does a great job recognizing those that have made both financial and historical contributions to its campus, but fails to visibly honor those that have changed this institution for the better through their individual actions.